You know that Hard Knocks clip where that corner's talking trash to DeAndre Hopkins, and he's like, "I fear God, I fear God, boy." Then he breaks his ankles right after. I love that phrase. I love what he says. Instead of talking smack to him, he just says, "I fear God." He doesn't care what he thinks. He doesn't care about that veteran corner's opinion, even though he's a rookie. He just believes in himself, does his thing, fears God, and doesn't fear man. So I think that's something we can all live by, not caring what other people think, not caring about the opinion of man, but fearing God and only caring what God thinks about you. That frees you up to live how you want to live and not be concerned with pleasing other people, but just living out your calling and not being afraid to make mistakes or put yourself out there. I, for a long time, would live to avoid embarrassment or speaking up in fear of being judged by other people or what other people might think of me. So I keep thoughts to myself and not speak up even when I knew I should, out of fear of being judged or making a fool of myself. But then I saw a video, I think it was from Maddie Pruitt, just talking about fearing man, and she referenced Galatians 1:10. So I read Galatians 1:10, and it says, "For am I now seeking approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ." So basically, we can't serve both God and man at the same time. It's one or the other. We can't try to please other people and worry about the opinions of other people and also still try to please God. So you have to decide one or the other. Am I going to please other people, or am I going to do things based off of what God thinks of me? And that was empowering. That's allowed me to be more bold and speak up more often and do things not with fear of what others might think, but more so with the motivation to do what I believe is pleasing to God and what can serve Him. And that can still be a daily battle. I mean, hitting the post button on a social media post or something like that, and it's like hesitant, scared of what someone else might think, but then it's just going back to that verse, Galatians 1:10. I'm not trying to do this I want to help other people, but I'm not trying to please them or do this so that they might think more highly of me. It's more so trying to live into my calling, what God has called me to do, and just trying to be a good steward of the gifts and tools and experiences He's blessed me with. And yeah, so it's just making that decision of who you're serving, making that daily choice to decide who you're going to serve, who you're trying to please, and just not caring what other people think about you, which is, again, easier said than done. With each action or interaction, you have to decide, am I trying to please God or am I trying to please other people? Because you can't do both. It's got to be one or the other. Make that decision, figure out who you're trying to serve, even if it's hard, and then live according to that purpose. I think it helps keeping a close circle of people who truly know you and trust you, and people who you know and trust. I think you can care about their opinions, but for people on social media or people who don't truly know the real you or know your heart or your intentions, you shouldn't care about their opinions for you. That goes both ways, good or bad. You shouldn't spend your time thinking about what they think living to please them or living in fear of what they may think of you. Instead, think about what your true calling is, what your purpose is, who you serve, who you're living to please, and live and make your decisions. Make each interaction according to that purpose. So, anytime you want to make a decision or say something that you know is right, but you're scared of what other people might think or say, just think back to Galatians 1:10. Are you living to please man, or are you living to please God? Can't do both, so make that decision to not care what others think, live to please God, and it will make you fearless.